Ghost Rider's first mount was not a motorcycle. It was an enormous flaming mammoth. Throughout Marvel history, the power of vengeance has chosen completely different hosts, including Native American warriors, samurai, federal agents, and soldiers sent into some of history's deadliest battlefields. Some of these characters received complete stories of their own. Others appeared for only a few pages, but introduced concepts creative enough to easily support movies, television series, or animated productions. In this list, we are looking at 10 characters who carried the Ghost Rider name or continued its legacy across different periods of history. Knuckles O'Shaughnessy. Very little has been revealed about the life of Knuckles O'Shaughnessy. He operated in the United States during the first half of the 20th century and appeared as the partner of Undead G-Man, another supernatural figure connected to the Ghost Rider legacy. The most memorable part of Knuckles was not a motorcycle or a chain. It was a wooden club covered in nails. His clothing resembled that of a street fighter or gang member from the era. He usually traveled inside the sidecar of his partner's motorcycle, leaving the driving to the undead federal agent. The character appeared in Ghost Rider number 33 during a story that introduced different agents of vengeance from across history. His appearance was brief, and his origin remained unexplained. Even so, his brutal design proved that the concept could exist without simply repeating the image made famous by the modern Ghost Riders. Carter Slade, the Phantom Rider. During the 19th century, Carter Slade abandoned his career as a teacher and traveled into the American West. While attempting to stop a group of criminals, he was critically wounded and left to die. His life was saved by the Native American medicine man, known as Flaming Star, who also gave Carter the resources he needed to create a new identity. Carter began riding Banshee, a white horse trained to accompany him during his missions. His glowing costume included a mask, cape, hat, and completely white clothing designed to convince criminals that they were being hunted by a ghost. He possessed no demonic powers, but used his supernatural reputation as a psychological weapon. Carter's greatest importance comes from Marvel's publishing history. In 1967, he became the first Marvel character published under the name Ghost Rider. After Johnny Blaze popularized the supernatural version, Carter was renamed the Phantom Rider to separate the two heroes. Caleb. Caleb had earned his freedom and was attempting to build a life with his wife and children in the American South during the Civil War. During that period, he saved the life of Confederate soldier Travis Parham, never imagining that their fates would remain connected through tragedy. Men who wanted Caleb's land murdered him and his entire family. But death did not end his story. He returned as a decaying supernatural presence accompanied by a ghostly horse and began an unstoppable hunt for the people responsible for the massacre. His appearance resembled a terrifying legend from the rural South, more than a traditional superhero. The miniseries Ghost Rider, Trail of Tears presents the events primarily through the perspective of Travis Parham. The soldier attempts to locate the murderers and avenge Caleb's family, only to discover that the man who once saved him has already returned to punish them. In this story, Ghost Rider is presented as a horrifying presence whose arrival terrifies the innocent almost as much as the guilty. Noble Kale. Noble Kale's tragedy began inside his own family. He lived during the 18th century and fell in love with a young woman named Magdalena, who discovered the dark secrets of Pastor Kale. To silence her, the pastor accused Magdalena of witchcraft and ordered her to be burned alive. Noble was also betrayed by his father and delivered to Mephisto. When his powers manifested, he took the form of a supernatural Puritan rider, marked by the dark clothing and disturbing appearance of his era. His ghostly horse replaced the machines that would become connected to the legacy centuries later. Before dying, Magdalena summoned creatures known as the Furies to take revenge on everyone responsible for her execution. Noble managed to confront them, but refused to kill his own son when he was ordered to do so. His soul eventually became trapped between heaven and hell. It was later revealed that Noble was the entity manifesting through Danny Ketch, connecting his 18th century family tragedy to the modern era. Hellhawk. During the 11th century, Hellhawk was already hunting criminals and supernatural threats across the territory that would eventually become the United States. He was introduced as a Sioux chief chosen to carry the power of a spirit of vengeance. making him one of the oldest known hosts. His transformation preserved elements identifying both his culture and the historical period in which he lived. In battle, Hellhawk used weapons such as knives and axes, enhanced by his supernatural strength. The result was the image of an ancient warrior transformed into an unstoppable force of judgment. Hellhawk became a member of the Avengers of 1 million BC, a team formed by protectors from different regions of Earth. Centuries later, his history also became connected to noble Kale's conflicts and the demonic forces of Limbo. He was eventually killed by necrosis under the orders of Belasco, as part of a warning directed at Mephisto. Undead G-Man. The United States during the 1930s was dealing with prohibition, the rise of organized crime, and violent conflicts between federal agents and gangsters. It was within this world that Undead G-Man appeared, although his real identity and life before death were never explained. His concept transformed the classic image of a federal investigator into a supernatural creature. Wearing a trench coat and hat, he drove a military motorcycle equipped with a sidecar and carried a Thompson submachine gun. Instead of using chains or medieval weapons, he fought his targets with equipment connected directly to his generation. Alongside Knuckles O'Shaughnessy, Undead G-Man invaded the headquarters of the Skin and Bones Club to prevent the execution of an innocent man. Although he received very little time in the comics, his combination of gangster cinema, horror, and supernatural action makes him one of the most unusual characters on this list. Kushala. Kushala did not simply become another host of Spirit of Vengeance. She mastered the entity that should have consumed her life and eventually achieved one of the most important positions in Marvel's magical universe. Her story began during the 19th century, after United States soldiers attacked her Apache people. Desperate, the young woman called upon the god she believed in for help, but her request attracted a far more dangerous force. When transformed, Kushala preserved elements of her culture within her clothing, while her hair appeared to be formed from the flames themselves. The bond granted her the strength, durability, and other abilities commonly associated with the spirits of vengeance. However, Kushala also developed mastery over spells, portals, and astral projection. Her search for a cure led her to study the supernatural so deeply that she became the sorcerer supreme of her era. She later adopted the name Spirit Rider after learning to completely control the presence living inside her. Ghost Ronin. Miyamoto Musashi became known as one of the greatest swordsmen in Japanese history. Within the Marvel Universe, his legend received an unexpected supernatural addition when he was chosen to carry the power of vengeance and became the warrior known as Ghost Ronin. Even after transforming, Musashi retained elements of his traditional armor. His primary weapon was a katana capable of channeling supernatural energy, combining the skill of a legendary swordsman with a force that no ordinary warrior could hope to defeat. That combination immediately separated him from the characters known for using chains and motorcycles. Ghost Ronin appeared when the Avengers were thrown across time during a war against different versions of Mephisto. His appearance revealed that resistance against the demon's influence also existed in feudal Japan. Although he still has very few stories, his concept contains enough material to support an entire supernatural samurai horror adventure. The Ghost Rider of 1 million BC, 1 million years before motorcycles existed, the first known host traveled across the world on the back of a gigantic flaming mammoth. Before receiving his powers, he was a young caveman named Ghost, and the only survivor of an attack carried out by the first Wendigo. Ghost spent years alone, carrying an intense desire to avenge the people he had lost. During that time, Mephisto approached him and offered the power necessary to confront the monster. The transformation affected not only the young man, but also his mount, creating one of the most unforgettable images in the entire Ghost Rider mythology. The prehistoric Ghost Rider became a member of the Avengers of 1 million BC. Alongside Odin, Lady Phoenix, Agamotto, Black Panther, Iron Fist, and Starbrand, he fought Celestials and other threats capable of destroying Earth before human civilization had even begun. His existence expanded the origins of both the Avengers and the Spirits of Vengeance. Sal Romero, Ghost Rider 44. In 1944, Sal Romero parachuted into Nazi-occupied Europe. The American sergeant was participating in a dangerous mission when he encountered Felix Bruckner, an officer connected to a monstrous supernatural entity. The confrontation ended with Sal's death, but something refused to allow his mission to end. Romero returned wearing the remains of the uniform that had been destroyed during the battle. His military motorcycle was transformed into a supernatural machine, while the weapons he had carried as a soldier were turned against both human and demonic enemies. His appearance combined the horror of Ghost Rider with the darkest images of the battlefields of World War II. Known as Ghost Rider 44, Sal fought alongside Wolverine, Bucky Barnes, Peggy Carter, and Nick Fury in the Hell Hunters miniseries. However, his story did not end when the war was over. The soldier remained connected to his descendants and could awaken whenever his family was in danger. For them, that terrifying presence became a type of infernal guardian angel. The most fascinating part of these characters is not simply discovering who appeared first or who has the most powerful design. It is realizing that the Ghost Rider concept can adapt to almost any genre and historical period. Caleb transforms the character into a supernatural horror legend from the Old West. Ghost Ronin creates the possibility of a supernatural adventure in feudal Japan. Undead G-Man combines demons with gangster stories, while Sal Romero carries the power of vengeance onto the battlefields of World War II. Which of these characters should return in a new comic series or receive a production of their own? Leave your choice in the comments. Give the video a like and subscribe to Nerd Society to discover more hidden stories from Marvel and DC.